All right, so let's start this video with a bold statement. I think Microsoft is dirt cheap. Fellow investors, bonjour. My name is Mike Yehu, and I am the founder of Dividend Stocks Rock, and I'm also a passionate investor. I have this YouTube channel to help you invest with more conviction so you can enjoy your retirement. Today, we're looking at one of my holdings in my pension plan portfolio, and it is Microsoft. Not too long ago, Microsoft reached the highest stock price ever in its history, and since then, since the beginning of 2021, things are not doing that great. As you can see on this graph, when you look at the dividend triangle, revenues keeps growing, earnings keeps growing, and the dividend follows as well. So you have an example of a perfect dividend triangle. However, the stock price is going down. So what is happening? If you look at the business model, well, it's relatively simple. The company is everywhere. So you have productivity and business processes where you're going to find all the subscription-based services such as Dynamic 365, Office, Windows, and all the other software. I really like the way they have built their subscription-based business. Before that, they used to launch new version of Windows, new version of Offices. And the thing is, a lot of consumers and a lot of companies were just thinking, you know what? I'm still very good with the version I have right now, so I don't really see the need to spend several $100s per license to upgrade to a new Windows or to a new Office suite. Now, what they've done over the past few years, they have converted that into subscription-based model, so you don't even feel it and you just pay every single year like a utility, and it goes directly into Microsoft Pockets and your software is being updated every time. Obviously, one of the strongest growth vector Microsoft has is the public cloud. So intelligent cloud business includes Azure. We're showing very strong double-digit growth, and there's probably more expansions to come for the next 10 years. So a lot of growth will come from the cloud industry. When you think about everything that we need now that is put into the cloud, how company base their database, their entire database into the cloud as well, this is just going to continue to expand. Very surprising, even personal computing segment is growing double digit these days. Counterintuitive, I think I've been reading that personal computer is about to die for the past 10 years, and yet we're still growing. Within this division, one thing that I really love is also their gaming industry. They're very strong with Xbox. Now they're after the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. We're not sure how it's going to turn out yet. It's expected to close in 2023. Obviously, it's going to take a while because there's a lot of regulations involved. I'm fairly confident it's going to happen, and I have both shares, so Activision, Blizzard, and Microsoft in my portfolio. So in any case, I think I'll be a winner on this point. But just to show you how many growth vectors this company has in its pocket. One thing that you should never forget is the strong bond Microsoft has with corporate America. What it means is they have a huge business that is super sticky. I mean, businesses will not change their Office suites or their Windows for another system overnight, or unless they have a very, very good reason. So that bond where many companies trust Microsoft with their software is incredible. With the pandemic, we saw Microsoft Teams exploding as well. So again, a lot more growth to come for this one. But now let's go back to my statement. Microsoft is dirt cheap. When you look at the PE ratio, is not that obvious. Yes, it has decreased since it used to trade around 35, 36 times their earnings since pretty much the pandemic. However, if you look back in time, the company is usually trading under 30%, under 30 PE ratio. So at this point, you may think, well, there's still a lot of room for the stock to drop and not necessarily to go up. So now let's take a moment and look at how earnings per share has increased right here over the past 5 years. Just look at the graph here and don't look at me because I'm just savoring that moment. EPS up 220 in the past 5 years. I've showed you in the other charts since the beginning of this video that pretty much everything is double-digit growth at Microsoft. So chances are it's going to continue to grow double-digit going forward. So if you're telling me that paying 30 times the current earnings is too expensive, I kind of disagree. And just to prove my point a little bit further, let's take a look at what other great companies trades at right now. So I've pulled out Costco, Nike, and Walmart. Definitely not tech stocks, but I wanted to show you how strong brands, large companies could trade at ridiculous PE ratio. So on this graph, you can see that actually Microsoft is the cheapest one out of the three, out of the four group. Even Costco is that 48 PE ratio. Forward PE for the next 12 months is 45. So again, you're not necessarily getting a deal here if you compare to the others. And one thing that I want to show you with this graph is how earnings per share has grown over the past 5 years. So as you can see, while Microsoft is the cheapest of the group, it's actually the company that grows its earnings per share the fastest, a lot faster than Nike, a lot faster than Walmart, and even against Costco, where Costco were able to double its EPS. We're talking about more than triple for Microsoft. So all that to tell you that I think if you haven't considered Microsoft in your portfolio yet, you might want to double check. Obviously, not financial advice, not buy sell recommendation, but if I were you, I would dig a little bit deeper. Maybe find a little place for this amazing tech stocks for the next 10 years. I'm not going to tell you that it's going to thrive in the next 6 months, but I'm not interested in the next 6 months. I'm interested in the next 10, 15, 20 years, maybe more. Right now, Microsoft has obviously a place in my portfolio that is like one of my largest holdings. It has done very well since I've purchased it in 2017. Funny fact, back in 2017, most analysts, including FastGraph, including analysts at Seeking Alpha and financial firms, were saying that at $75, Microsoft was very expensive. Fast forward today, we're trading close to $300. I don't know, but unless the stock price goes into a huge stock split, you're never going to be able to buy Microsoft at $75 again. So basically, what I want to tell you here is Microsoft is a great business, has several growth vectors, and yes, you might go into some hurdles over the short term, but over the next decade, I really think that this is one of my strongest positions in my portfolio. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know about what is your overvalued or dirt cheap best stock idea right now. I'm curious to know in the comments. Let me know. We're going to start a discussion about like what are the best stocks to buy at this point. Microsoft is definitely on the top of my list. And if I had more money to invest in a tech stocks, it would definitely go there. So give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel to not miss next week's video. And until then, don't forget to stay invested.